Hi everyone, I'm John Shaw, principal percussionist of the Florida Orchestra, and I thought I'd give you a little behind the scenes look at how we operate. The percussion section is unique in that we don't know what instruments we're going to play on a given program until that program's created. I might play snare drum, xylophone, triangle, tuned cowbells, all manner of different instruments. And you might wonder, how do we decide who plays what, or even how many players we need? Well, as the principal percussionist, that duty falls to me to figure those things out. And I thought you might be interested to see how the process works. For each concert TFO does, we have a program sheet that looks like this. It lists the program title, repertoire, dates of performance, and who's conducting. First, I need to know which pieces require percussion and what instruments are needed. Sometimes I need to look at the actual parts to figure this out, but most of the time I can just consult my database. I've kept track of all my previous assignments in a database app called Ninix, and after 24 years, I've got close to 3,000 records of pieces and the percussion instruments they require. For instance, for the program we saw on our sheet, we're doing 3 movements of The Planets by Gustav Holst. I can just search planets and it takes me to my breakdown of parts. I keep track of the number of players required and which players play which instruments. I also keep track of when we've done it over the years and with which conductors. I even have pieces broken down into movements so I can see how to do things if we're only doing a portion of the piece, as is the case with this concert. Here we're only doing the movements of Mars, Mercury, and Jupiter. Now I have to make a part assignment sheet. This is what it looks like. I know the instruments and numbers of players. How should I assign the parts? In general, as the principal player, I'm expected to play the most important or prominent part. However, I like to keep everyone more or less in stations for each performance, so each of us may wind up playing a more prominent part on a given piece. On this concert, you can see that each of us has a main area of concentration: keyboard, percussion, snare drum, cymbals, etc. I email this assignment sheet to the players, librarians, and personnel managers weeks ahead of the concert date. Now I have to make a stage plot. I use Keynote on my iPad to make these. I keep a template page with drawings of keyboard percussion, drums, cymbals and gongs, and smaller percussion, as well as drawings of everyone who plays in my section, both full-time and as an extra musician. The finished product looks like this. It's important for us to see how we need to be placed next to each other for ease of movement, sharing of instruments, and how many of the smaller things like triangles we need. I send a copy of this plot not only to the players, but also to the stage crew. The crew will need to know which large instruments to have on stage for us and how to arrange them. I also indicate how many stands and chairs we'll need, since the setups change from program to program. I will often need to then mark our parts for each individual player, which I do with a red pencil. If the music is in score form, that is, shows all percussion parts on the same page, this makes it easier for each player to follow their particular assignment. After marking, I turn all the music back into the librarians. Well, there you go. I do that for every program that we do, somewhere between 40 and 50 a year. On top of that, I have to find time to practice. I'm trying to use this quarantine time to get ahead of next season's schedule. I hope you found this interesting and insightful look behind the scenes of the workings of the orchestra. In any case, stay healthy, and I hope to see you from the stage again very soon.
Hi, everybody. This is Caitlin Springer,
And I'm Kristen Baird.
and we are the teaching artists of the Florida Orchestra. We would just like to say a big thank you to all the teachers out there who have continued to do an amazing job.
As a thank you, we recorded the Flower Song duet. We hope that you enjoy it, and we just really appreciate all the hard work that you guys do, and you're on ground zero doing the work and keeping classical music and the arts alive and our community. And not only that, but thank you for opening your classrooms with such warmth, for us and really making Pinellas County feel like home.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations to the graduating class of 2020 from your Florida Orchestra.
Congratulations, class of 2020.
Congratulations of class 2020.
One, two, 1, 2, 3.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are just about 8 minutes away from the main program beginning here for today's Bravura Brunch in support of the Florida Orchestra. I know many of you have been enjoying the entertainment during our pre-show here, and we're going to get back to that in just a few moments, so please, if you haven't already found the most comfortable chair in your house, if you haven't already made your nice mimosa, your cocktail, your glass of wine to enjoy today's program, now's the time to do so. Our program will begin in about 8 minutes. Remember, you can continue to bid on all the silent and even the live auction items. All bidding is done through your handheld device. So however you're watching the program, whether it be on your laptop, your phone, maybe you've got it up on your big smart TV, all your bidding is done through that. So please get online, make sure you're bidding. We still have our raffle opportunity, only 28 more opportunities to buy your way into that. So please check out our opportunity drawing for a great wine basket valued at almost $350. So we also have an opportunity to see you while you're watching the program. How do we do that? We do that through our text to screen option. Text us your photos of you enjoying the program here today. All you have to do is send them to that number on the screen, 813-212-2122. If you send us those photos a few times throughout the program, we're going to check in and we're going to watch you enjoying the Bravura Brunch. So please join us virtually through the text message pictures you can send in. Now, before we go back to the music, we want to do one more check-in, and this check-in is to let you know about one of our live auction items. Remember, live auction items, silent auction items, you can all bid on it on your phone right now. And we've got a great live auction item, which is Dinner with the Maestro, where Maestro Michael Francis will join you for dinner. And this year's dinner will be served at the Tradewinds.
Hello everyone, I'm Chef Justin from the Tradewinds, and the main show is about to begin. I hope you'll stick around for the live auction, where you can bid on a dinner right here on the beach at the Tradewinds Resort. Get ready to bid often. The show is about to start.
Congratulations to the graduating class of 2020 from your Florida Orchestra.
Congratulations, class of 2020.
Congratulations of class 2020.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this year's Bravura Brunch supporting the Florida Orchestra. What a different year we are having, but we're going to have an amazing program nonetheless here at the Bravura Brunch. We've been doing this for decades, and we've come to you this year virtually. So we hope that you found the most comfortable chair in your house. You're sitting back, you're relaxing, and you're ready to enjoy not only some great music, which I know many of you have been enjoying for the entirety of our pre-show, but we've got some great performances coming up later on in this Bravura Brunch. We've also got an appearance by the maestro himself, Michael Francis, the music director of the Florida Orchestra, who will be joining us as well. Now, this is a fundraiser, so throughout the program, we'll be letting you know about all the fundraising opportunities. The silent auction has been going on for a full week, so if you haven't looked at those items yet, now's the time to do so. You've got about 25 minutes left in the silent auction. We will count you down to the last few seconds of that silent auction. All bidding is done through your phone or through your tablet or your laptop, however you want to make sure that you're registered to bid and donate. You do that all through the same device. It's called Qtego, and that's the software that we're using to bid. So when I talk about Qtego, you'll know where it is. Qtego is also the software where many of you are watching the program here this afternoon. So you want to make sure you bid in that silent auction. There's also an opportunity to buy your way into our opportunity drawing. That's a raffle. It's called an Insta-Buy. So same sort of thing. On your Qtego device, there's a button that says Insta-Buy. When you hit that button, you will see our wine basket. It is a wine basket valued at almost $350. They've all been donated by NSA board members. There's only 23 opportunities left to buy your way into this opportunity drawing. We only are offering 50. So everyone who buys has a 1 in 50 chance. If you buy 5, you have a 5 in 50 chance of winning this $350 wine basket. So please get in on that and buy your way into our opportunity drawing. We've also got our text to screen program going on. And what is that? Simple. You text, we put it on the screen. You send us the photos of you out there watching Bravura Brunch, enjoying the Bravura Brunch, supporting the Bravura Brunch, and we're going to put them up on the screen. We want to show you some of the pictures of you watching the program now. Many of you have sent in the pictures as you're enjoying not only the program now for the Bravura Brunch, but some of you have also sent in pictures from past years' Bravura Brunches. I see some people are sending in some actual text messages. Dr. Bonnie Jeffrey saying she's enjoying the show, so thank you so much. Continue to send those in. We will show those throughout the rest of the program. But as we want to make sure that you understand why we're all here, we're going to take a few breaks throughout the program to check in with those who helped put on this program. The North Suncoast Associates, one of the fundraising guilds of the Florida Orchestra. The Bravura Brunch has been their signature event for many, many decades. And what I will tell you is the leadership of this organization this year has been different than any other. So we want to take a moment to check in with the president of the North Suncoast Associates. This is Eleanor Cicerci.
Good afternoon and welcome. Certainly we never expected to be sponsoring a virtual benefit this year. Last year's Bravura Brunch was, for me and probably for many of you, the last in-person gala and the last large in-person gathering that we've participated in for an entire year. Thank you for joining us today and tackling the technological challenges that are part of virtual fundraisers. I want to welcome Maestro Michael Francis, his wife Cindy, and their daughter Annabella, who are with us today. Welcome also to Mark Cantrell, TFO's President and CEO, David Smith, TFO Principal Horn, and so many other TFO staff, board members, musicians, and supporters. Welcome and thanks to Jason Alpert, our MC and auctioneer, who over the past 5 years has become an invaluable friend and idea person for NSA. And thank you to all the TFO musicians who, at their own initiative, posted Zoom and Facebook performances in the early days of the pandemic. We've shown a number of these videos in the pre-show today. You can also find them in the TFO at Home section of TFO's website. Every nonprofit and its constituencies experience stress tests from time to time. The triggers may be a sudden leadership vacancy, a recession, or disaster. But who plans for a global pandemic that goes on and on and on? This year has certainly been a major stress test for TFO and all those who care about its mission, its programming, and its people. TFO has triumphed. It is one of only 20% of the country's professional orchestras that are performing live concerts at this time, albeit with pandemic-era restrictions. That's why we're gathered today, because the orchestra's own annual gala was not held this year and all other guild fundraisers were canceled. The Bravura Brunch is the only major fundraising event benefiting TFO to be held this season. Thank you for buying tickets, bidding on live and silent auction items, and participating in our wonderful raffle, which is new this year. Please keep bidding. Follow Jason as he leads us through the live auction items and the bid from the heart. You're making a difference for TFO and its numerous educational and community engagement programs. I also want to thank the sponsors of today's event. The list of brass and bronze sponsors is scrolling on your screen now. Sponsors provide startup funds for the Bravura Brunch, ensuring that the early expenses, which were pretty substantial this year because of our need to hire 2 high-tech companies, were available when we needed them. We have heard all year that when we need it, music will find a way to soothe, to heal, and to inspire. Thank you for helping to sustain TFO during this difficult year and to keep live orchestral music alive across Tampa Bay. Now I want to introduce Mark Cantrell, TFO's President and CEO. He is certainly a singular person. He's been a professional trombone player, a musher, as in sleds and dogs, a commercial pilot, and is still a woodworker. This on top of a demanding position with TFO. If anyone can pivot quickly, it's Mark. And here is Mark.
Hi, I'm Mark Cantrell, President and CEO of the Florida Orchestra. Welcome to this year's Bravura Brunch. I would like to thank all of you for participating, and in particular, a special thanks to Eleanor Cicerci, President of the North Suncoast Associates, and to all of you at the NSA for bringing us this year's Bravura Brunch. Who could have imagined the chaos that was about to unfold 1 year ago as we gathered to celebrate the Florida Orchestra? Who could have even guessed at what challenges we all would face? Yet, here we are, a year later, celebrating again, though in a very unique manner. We took every challenge before us, we pivoted, and we reimagined who we were. Instead of offering less music or no music, we offered more. Instead of offering music only in the concert hall, we also are offering streaming, free of charge to everyone. Why did we do all of this when so many other performing arts organizations are shuttered and dark? Because together, Maestro Francis and I believe in the transformative power of music. We believe in the power of music to unite. We believe in the power of music to heal and to bring peace. And now, more than ever, we need that peace and healing. However, there is only so much that we as the orchestra can do, and the most critical element in all of this is you, our patrons, our supporters. During this unprecedented crisis, you have been there for us. You have stood by us as we reimagined our season and overcame many obstacles so that we could safely bring you the joy of live music. Now, as we gather virtually to celebrate our beloved Florida Orchestra, I want to thank you for all you have done and continue to do. As we approach the fundraising portion of our program, I invite you to reflect back over the past year and take pride in knowing that your support and generosity have made this remarkable season possible. And know that your continued support and generosity will make future years of the Florida Orchestra even better and help us thrive. From all of us at the Florida Orchestra, thank you.
No, Mark, thank you, and certainly thank you to Eleanor as well, the two leaders of these two organizations helping to put on the Bravura Brunch. Now, I will tell you that so many people come to the Bravura Brunch each year for the entertainment, for the music, for the orchestra, and we're going to give you just that. Now, before I introduce the next performer who's going to introduce the next piece, I will remind you that you can continue bidding on our silent and our live auction items. They're both available on your bidding devices, whether it be your phone, your laptop, whatever it may be. There's only 7 silent auction items left with no bid, so help us sell out that. There's a button that says no bids. Click on that and you'll see what those are. And then there's the live auction button. Remember, you can bid on the live auction right now. It will close later on in the program. But we do want to get you to some more orchestra performances. The man who will introduce this next piece has been playing trumpet since he was 9 years old. He joined the Florida Orchestra in 1984 and in 1994 became the principal trumpet. He's also been a featured soloist many times. He's served as the guest principal for the Symphony of Orchestras in places like Dallas and Houston, New Zealand, and Singapore, and is also an associate principal with the San Francisco Symphony.
Hi, my name is Robert Smith. I'm principal trumpet with the Florida Orchestra. My wife Laura and I have been members of the orchestra since 1984. Thank you so much for joining this Bravura Brunch. One of the things that we are doing this season that is very different from past seasons because of the COVID pandemic and the safety protocols that we must follow is we've had the opportunity to play some smaller works and kind of things that are different from the full orchestra programming. Recently we got to play a wind ensemble program, so just the wind instruments, brass and woodwind and percussion, and it really is a wonderful thing to do for us. It allows us to listen differently, to balance differently, to communicate at a slightly more intimate level than we normally do. And one of the wonderful things that we get to do is actually play as a brass ensemble. So we hope you enjoy the first piece on this program that we performed, which was Copland's Fanfare for the Common Man. It's hard to imagine a more simple yet noble introduction that the trumpets get to play on this piece, and we hope you enjoy it as much as we enjoyed performing it.
Amazing performance from the Florida Orchestra, that brass ensemble. Thank you so much. And to Michael Francis, of course, as well, who we're going to hear from in just a moment. Now, this particular event, in its 27th year, the Bravura Brunch, a Bravura Brunch that so many people have come to know and love each year. And when they brought the chair on for this year's event, they were prepared to put on the Bravura Brunch as we all have come to know and love it. Well, you talk about pivot, that's exactly what we've had to do. You talked about adapt, that's exactly what we've had to do. And to do that, we've had a fearless leader to chart the course. I honestly believe that her email address and her phone number may have become the most popular in town, not only because people wanted to be part of the event, but they wanted to make sure that they understood how to be part of the event. We thank so many of you for making sure that you joined us today, and we'd like to give the leader of this ship, the chair of this event, a moment to address you all, and thank you for joining us for this year's Bravura Brunch. Please welcome Dr. Patricia Donahue.
Thanks, Jason, and welcome. The North Sun Coast Associates are here to support the Florida Orchestra. We are all about music education and community engagement with our wonderful orchestra. Margaret Mead famously said, "It takes a village to raise a child." I say it takes a community, our community, to keep the music going for all and to create the future of music for and with our children. We are so fortunate to have the magnificent Florida Orchestra. We are so fortunate to have the creative leadership of Maestro Michael Francis and President Mark Cantrell, who created the Reimagine season. They know that music is important to our heart and soul, our well-being, and that it lifts and connects us in community. They know how important it is to engage youth with music, the Prodigy program in Hillsborough, and musicians partnering with teachers in Pinellas, musician speakers in the schools, interacting in classrooms, and students attending concerts. And they have continued the music and the education for youth during the pandemic. They have truly been amazing. The North Sun Coast Associates was created to connect the Florida Orchestra to our community in northern Pinellas, Pasco, and Hernando counties, and to provide support for the Florida Orchestra. Our members volunteer at Ruth Eckerd Hall information tables, and we are so anxious to get back there. Also at the Justine LeBaron Young Artist Competition and at the instrument petting zoos. Our 3 membership meetings include dinner, great conversation, and time with a musician from the orchestra. Please check out the membership brochure on the website or contact northsuncoasttfo@gmail.com. Bravura is our largest fundraiser for the year to support music education and community engagement at the Florida Orchestra. Thanks to all of you for attending. Your ticket purchases and wonderful auction commitments and donations provide a major source of our support for the orchestra's music education and community engagement programs. My special thanks go to the motivated and dedicated Bravura Brunch Committee for creating this musical celebration. Thanks to our TFO liaison, Megan Carlone, and the many amazing leaders and staff of the Florida Orchestra who provided great support for the Bravura while totally reimagining and reorganizing their concert schedule. We are thrilled you are here because you believe in the arts and making sure that the Florida Orchestra and its youth and community engagement programs continue to thrive in our community. Enjoy the auction and the tremendous program. It's my privilege to introduce the music director of the Florida Orchestra. In 6 years with us, he has reinvigorated the growing TFO community and education programs. He has been a beacon of creativity and perseverance to make sure TFO is bringing music to as many people as possible in our community, young and old. This leading international conductor calls Tampa Bay home. Please welcome Michael Francis. Michael?
Hello to everybody who's taking part in today's Bravura Brunch on behalf of the Florida Orchestra. I'm Michael Francis, music director, and I'm so grateful to all of you for your generosity, for your love of music, and also your pride in this orchestra who have kept bringing the music to you at this difficult time. Thank you very much to Eleanor Cesarci, Patricia Donahue, and of course Maria Cantonis, always such a wonderful help as well. We're so grateful to everything you do, your passion for keeping live music going, for allowing us to take our music into the community where it's needed, to continue to bring beauty to Tampa Bay is just so inspiring to all of us. I'm so grateful. Sorry we can't have it in person this year for obvious reasons, but we hope you have been enjoying the music. We hope you are feeling very proud of all that's going on at the Florida Orchestra. We miss you. We look forward to seeing you very, very soon as we come out of this pandemic and head back into more normal weather, hopefully, that things will get better and we'll all see each other once again in the concert hall. Thank you very, very much to all of you, and have a wonderful online virtual Bravura Brunch. Nothing will stop us, will it? We're the Florida Orchestra.
Nothing will stop us, Maestro. There's no doubt about that. Not only with the music that cannot stop and will not stop thanks to the Florida Orchestra, but nothing will stop us here at the Bravura Brunch as we continue to roll on with our program. I want you to know that I'm going to put a 7-minute countdown on the silent auction, which means that for the next 7 minutes, we've got some programming for you, but we're going to come back and we're going to make sure you know exactly when that silent auction closes. Please understand that because of latency, that's the fact that the words that are coming out of my mouth are reaching people at home at different times by a few seconds here or there. It's not an exact 7-minute countdown that I just gave. It's about 7 minutes. So I encourage you to put in those bids. You can put in a max bid and let Qtego, the mobile bidding platform, bid up for you. But I will tell you that at last look, there were only 4 items with no bid. So please click on that no bid button and help us sell out the entire silent auction. So only 4 items left in the silent auction. At this point, there's probably about 6 minutes left in the silent auction. We're going to count you all the way down to the very end of this. I will also take a quick peek in on our text-to-screen images that have been coming into us here, because we want to see you enjoying the Bravura Brunch. Not only those of you sending in pictures from years past, but certainly those of you we see right there enjoying this year's Bravura Brunch and watching the program digitally and virtually with us here at the Production Crew Studios, which is where we come to you from, but so many of you watching us, not only throughout the Tampa Bay community, but we know people nationwide and worldwide are joining us here for the Bravura Brunch. One of the videos that we want to show you, one of the stories we want to show you, is one that highlights a program that has become near and dear not only to the Florida Orchestra, but specifically to the North Suncoast Associates. It is that educational programming, the community engagement programming. And it's a program that was started by a woman who we're going to hear from in just a little while. So I'll tease that up without telling you exactly who she is, but we do want to let you learn a little bit more about the Pinellas County Teaching Program.
Just so that you know who we are, we all play with the Florida Orchestra. I'm going to start with Miss Kristen Beard. She's a violinist. She's the other teaching artist, which is really exciting. We work together.
What makes the Florida Orchestra Teaching Artist Partnership unique is the collaboration between the Florida Orchestra and the public schools.
It's interesting because I feel like I'm in 2 different worlds sometimes.
There are other programs that are similar, but even then, there are very few programs where the people teaching on behalf of the orchestra also perform with the orchestra.
So what we do is we play with the orchestra half of the time, and then the other half of the time we will go into classrooms and we will help teachers in whatever way they might need.
To have members of this orchestra work with my students is the equivalent of having an NFL team work directly with students in a high school setting.
And if you're a music person or music programs in schools, that's where you'd look to for those high-level performances.
Sometimes I find myself telling students the same exact thing that I was told on stage, and I'll catch myself and be like, wow, it really is all connected.
You know, the arts teach so many important life skills.
Music and learning an instrument is just such a great environment for that, because it takes discipline, but it also takes responsibility on your own part.
I could show you prior to the referendum, we may have a few orchestras and might have gone to music performance assessment. Now it's every school that has an orchestra. The kids are doing very, very well at those assessments. So this couldn't happen without the referendum dollars, and quite frankly, we couldn't have rebuilt our orchestra programs.
Now we are going to learn how to hold our violas today. So say hi to Maggie, my viola.
What was it like going from the classroom to virtual? I don't think any of us realized really how long-term this was going to be.
We've not only kind of had to adapt ourselves, but we were there with the teachers and the students when they had to adapt too. So
we spend a lot of time virtually teaching, so either one-on-one, or sometimes teachers will put us virtually on a laptop in a practice room and send kids in one by one. Yeah, check that high D. I lied. We're gonna do it again. I think I get excited when I see it working. I have a bass student that I had to start from scratch. She sounds good. It's in tune. She plays with good rhythm and a nice consistent pulse. I mean, I couldn't ask for anything more. That to me is success. And it may only be one success, but if we can keep multiplying those small successes, I think that is really what's important, especially when we're in a time that is so difficult.
hi Sophie. Hi Steve. Hi Tag. So were there any questions? The orchestra coming into the classroom, I think, sends a message that we value the community and that we are invested in creating the next generation of music lovers.
All right, that's an amazing program that the Florida Orchestra puts on. We're going to hear a little bit more about that program later on in the program for the person who started that program, and certainly is an important part of the fine arts in this community. Now, there's about a minute left in the silent auction, so I will remind you over and over that it's not an exact minute. So in these last few seconds, please put in the max bid. If you want to make sure you win something, you have to put in the max bid to make sure that you get the item at the dollar amount that you're willing and up to pay for. Now, there are still 2 items left with no bids. So if you want to help us sell out the auction, please just tap on that no bid button. Those 2 items will pop up there, and you'll have a chance to help us sell out the auction. So there is a bell that we have here in the studio that in a moment it's going to ring, and that will signify that the silent auction is closed. You will also know that the silent auction is closed because you will no longer be able to bid on it on your phones. We have gift cards to restaurants like E&E Steakhouse, which is always amazing, as you all know. Island Way Grill gift cards are on there, so if you haven't searched for things like that, get there now. There's a stay at the Fenway Hotel in Dunedin, at Innisbrook Resort. You can stay there, all courtesy of our silent auction. So we're going to wait and see when the silent auction closes who ends up ultimately being the winner of those packages. Now, the live auction items ultimately were part of the bidding leading up to our event. They were closed out and frozen when the event started. That's not to say that we're not going to open them back up. In fact, in just a little while, we are going to open them back up so you can continue bidding in the live auction. So we're going to have those. Is that, Pat, let it go, let it rip, right? There's the bell, right? All right, so that is the official bell. Pat Donahue is our official bell ringer. She's working hard in here, right? Doing so many things. That means that the silent auction is now closed. So if you want a silent auction item, you will get a text message alerting you that you did just that. And we will coordinate and let you all know exactly how we're going to do the pickup of those items, or delivery, if you will, later on in the program. Now, it is time for the live auction part of the program. Understand that the live auction item is bid on just like the silent auction. The difference is that we only have 3 live auction items. I will be calling out the live auction descriptions. I will call out our top bidder for each live auction item. I will call out our underbidders for each live auction item, and then we'll be able to see who's bidding back and forth between each other. So we will then put a 30-second counter on your bidding device. So whether that's your phone, your laptop, your tablet, your big screen TV, you're actually going to see a big red clock that's going to count down from 30 seconds to 0. In the live auction, I don't close the live auction. Qtego, which is the mobile bidding platform, they will close it for me. When it says 0, I will look up here on the screens that I have here in the studio, and I will announce who the winner of each one of our live auction items is. So let's go ahead and go with our first live auction package. This live auction package is your opportunity to have a wine tasting in your home. It's called Sipping Italy Wine Experience. And for this Sipping Italy Wine Experience, we're going to send you 12 bottles of Italian red wine. Understand that these are not just any bottles of red wine. We've got them listed there. These are labels and vintages that we say difficult to find in the U.S. I would challenge you to say they're almost impossible to find here in the U.S. So they are unique, rare vintages that will be sent to your home or wherever you want them sent to, from 2015 to 2017. Each one of those bottles will have a descriptive notes that come along with it, with all the information about it. And you will also get a sommelier-guided video wine tasting where you will have a chance to really learn in depth about those bottles of wine so that you can have that wine tasting. Now, I encourage you to consider, before I go on talking about it, I'm going to look up here at the screen, and I will tell you that John Reynolds is currently our top bidder on this auction lot at $400. The approximate retail value of this package with the wine tasting and the bottles of wine in it is $1,995. So right now we have this $400 bid from John. We're going to see who wants to bid against John and see if they can get the bid up a little bit on this. But right now we have a $400 top bid. I will tell you again about these bottles of wine though, and make sure that you understand that you can do it where all 12 bottles come to you. But because this is 4 different bottles and you're going to get 3 of each bottle, you can consider splitting this between 3 people. And 3 different people all go in together on this. You each get 4 bottles of wine. You all do the wine tasting together and have that experience with the Sipping Italy Wine Experience at your home, at your office, wherever, sitting out by your pool, wherever you may want it to be. So now we have some bids coming in. We had John Reynolds open it up at $400. Sue Ulrey came in at $500. John got in at $600. Sue Ulrey came back at $700. So now we've got a $700 top bid. I need an $800 bid to keep this one going. Is it going to be John or is it going to be Sue or is somebody else going to come in? I need an $800 bid to keep this going. Who's going to get in at $8? Understand that, again, the latency is different. I may see the bids here in our studio at a different time than you all are seeing them at home, but I also know that many of you can see this on your phone who your top bidder is. So we have an $800 bid now. Is there a $900 bidder out there? Is there a $900 bidder who wants to come back? I'm looking for $300 more from John Reynolds or $200 more from Sue Ulrey, or is there someone else who wants to come in and steal this for $900? So we have a $400 bid from John. It got to $700 with Sue. And now we have an $800 bid from Autumn. I now need somebody to go $900 before we start to close this one out. Who wants to get in at $900 before we close it out? As I mentioned, we're going to put that countdown clock on your screen in just a moment. It will not be me who shuts down this live auction lot. It will be up to the mobile bidding platform. When it hits 0, when that clock hits 0, we will be finished. I will remind you again, let's go ahead and put up that screen again so that they can see the wines that are in this auction package. Understand that this is 4 different vintages, 4 different labels that you will be sent. Sue Ulrey is back in at $900. Let's get a round of applause for Sue, right? Can we ring that bell and celebrate that a little bit, that we're getting the bid? There we go. The bell's going for Sue, but we need a few more bids. So Sue is now in at $900. Again, the total package, the retail value is about $2,000, $1,995. Who's going to come back at $1,000 one time? Is there somebody who's going to get in at $1,000? Is it John? Is it Sue? Is it Autumn who's come back? We got a $1,000 bid now that has come in. Who's going to give me $1,100? We need $1,100 to keep this one going. I'm going to go ahead and put that countdown clock on the screen right now, which means that you've got about 30 seconds to bid. Don't trust my voice. Don't trust what I'm saying. Only trust what you see on your bidding device. So the countdown clock will show up any moment. I see it on my device right now. We need to get an $1,100 bid here. Who's going to go one time at $1,100? Is it Sue or is it John? Who's going to come back one time? Who's going to get in at $1,100? Anybody want to go $1,100? Anybody want in? Again, I'm going to watch my screen here, and when I see it, we will close it out, and I will celebrate, and I will say sold, and I will say closed, and we're going to wait and see if anybody jumps in at the last moment. I need an $1,100 bid one time. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and refresh the screen one more time, and I'm going to look over here, and we do have a $1,000 winning bid on this package. We are sold, thank you, from the Florida Orchestra. All right, let's move on to our next live auction lot. Our next live auction lot is your chance to travel to a tropical destination in Mexico. Before I even go into the destinations, I'll make sure that you look on the left side of your screen where it says doesn't expire for 2 years. You will have into 2023 to take this trip. There are no blackout dates, and you will get to choose between a luxury resort, a luxury Vedanta resort in Acapulco or Cabo San Lucas or Nueva Vallarta or Cancun at Riviera Maya. Your choice of any of those 4 locations. It doesn't expire for 2 years, no blackout dates, and look at some of the views, look at some of the accommodations, look at some of the places you will be staying. All these properties are luxury properties. So we want you to get away for 8 days and 7 nights. You hear sometimes that people will tell you that this is a week-long package, and it, quite frankly, is a short week. Sometimes it's Monday through Sunday. This is not it. This is a full week, 7 nights, Monday through Monday, or Tuesday through Tuesday, whenever you want to go there. So we opened this up at a $750 bid, and that's where we're at right now. I need a $1,000 bid to keep this one going. Is there a $1,000 bidder out there? Anybody wants to put their finger on that button? Remember, there is a live auction tab at the top of your bidding device. You tap on that once, and that will take you right to this item. You also are lucky enough to have our friends from Qtego be able to put these auction lots that we're bidding on right now on your screen, so they should be there for right now. We do have a $1,000 bid from Tiffany Hernandez. How about that, Tiffany? Thank you, right? Yeah. That's right, hoot and holler over there. I like to hear that. So we've got a $750 bid to get us started. We went to $1,000. I need somebody to go $1,250. Is there a $1,250 bid out there? Somebody who wants this 1 week stay, doesn't expire for 2 years. You can travel into 2023. You look at these images where you will be staying. You look at the accommodations. You look at the pools, the restaurants. You look at where you will be. And it doesn't expire for 2 years. No blackout dates. You want to go over holidays, you can do just that. Your choice between Acapulco and Cabo San Lucas, Nueva Vallarta, and Cancun, Riviera Maya. We have that $1,000 bid right now. Right now, we sold the wine at $1,000. And good gracious, somehow we may sell an 8-day trip to a tropical resort in Mexico for the same thing as a case of wine. So let's see what we can do here. Let's see if we can get a $1,250 bid, but we're going to do it in the last 30 seconds of this item. So let's go ahead and put that 30-second counter up on the clock. As I mentioned to you, and I'll remind you over and over again, because too many people are used to relying on the MC or the auctioneer and their voice and telling them when it is closed. It's not up to me when this item is closed. We're going to see who can get in at $1,250 and steal this one out. And when that clock says 0, that's when it is closed. Please understand that you get your choice. It's not even like you have to decide today where you want to travel to. You'll do your research, you'll look at your properties, and then you'll be able to say, I want to go to Acapulco. I want to go to Cabo San Lucas. I want to go to Nueva Vallarta, which is just outside Puerto Vallarta, as you might imagine. We do have some new bidders here. Martha Huff came in at $1,250. We then had Autumn come back at $1,500. I now need $1,750 to keep this one going. Is there a $1,750 bidder out there? Anybody want to go one time? Anybody in at $1,750? Martha Huff, will you come back one more time? Who's going to, anybody want in? All right, so this item is now closed. So if we can get that bell ready to go, because I want to celebrate one more time. We do have a sell price of $1,500 on this package. We are sold, thank you, from the Florida Orchestra. Yeah. All right. We move on now to what has become the premier auction package for this auction lot, for this auction every year. And it is not only because it's an amazing meal, but it is because your special guests at this meal are none other than Maestro Michael Francis and his wife Cindy. This year, the meal will be served not in a potentially gourmet restaurant, but how about we use nature as your restaurant? We're going to put you out on the beach, on the sunset, on St. Petersburg Beach, and the food and the wine is going to be prepared by the Tradewinds. And you know what? I don't want to be the one to tell you about this. Let's let the chef at the Tradewinds tell you himself.
Thanks, Jason, and hello, everyone. The Tradewinds is excited to be part of your live auction. The winner of this package will get an amazing dinner on the beach featuring some of these items. We have a filet, it's carrot puree. We also have sea bass on a beetroot risotto. And those are just some of the samplings that might be on your menu. Get ready to start bidding. Can't wait to see the winner.
Of course the filet, of course the seafood. The menu to your desire. They're going to make it the dinner of the year, and you will be joined by Michael Francis and his wife. Please know that this dinner provided by the Tradewinds includes the wine, and they've already kind of hinted that the higher the bid on this we get, the better the wine is that we will be able to provide at this event, at this dinner. But it really should be, and could be, and will be, historically speaking, the dinner of the year for you and your guests. So understand this is a total of 10 people who will be at the dinner. That includes Michael and his wife Cindy. So it's you, 7 of your friends and family, and Michael and Cindy make 10, and you will be watching sunset on St. Petersburg Beach. So we have an opening bid on this one at $1,000 from Marcy Shuck. Sue Ulrey came in at $1,250. Elizabeth Smith came back at $1,500. I now need somebody to go $1,750. Is there a $1,750 bidder out there? Is Marcy Shuck going to come back and give me $1,750? Is Sue Ulrey going to support the Florida Orchestra at $1,750? Right now, Elizabeth Smith has this auction lot 1 at $1,500. I will tell you that in most years, this package goes for $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 or $6,000. We're going to see if we can get up to that $2,000 mark this year. We do have it. Barbara Bush gave me $1,750 for the package. That's right, Barbara, thank you. We now need $2,000. Is there a $2,000 bidder out there? Who's going to go $2,000 one time? Anybody want to go? Oh, Elizabeth Smith came back at $2,000. Barbara, are you going to come back at $2,250? Barbara, are you going to come back at $2,250? Or Sue Ulrey, who's been working hard on this? No, Marcy Shuck comes back at $2,250. We got hers at $2,250. Now I need $2,500. A $2,500 donation gets you on the beach with the maestro and the sunset and the food and the wine, courtesy of the Tradewind. Chef Jeff and Chef Justin making sure that this is going to be an amazing experience for you. Who's going to give us $2,500? Who's going to support the Florida Orchestra? Who knows and loves the NSA to say, listen, I believe in that mission? We got it. Barbara Bush at $2,500. There we go. Who's going to go $2,750? Who's in at $2,750? When I put that 30-second counter on there, I don't think you want to wait that long, right? We have $2,750 from Elizabeth Smith. We now need $3,000. You don't want to wait till that last 30-second comes up, because then you may or may not get in. Don't trust the Wi-Fi. Don't trust the technology. Don't trust your cell phone signal. Put that bid in now and let us see it here in the studio. Let us celebrate it for you. So we had $1,750 with Barbara Bush. Elizabeth came in at $2,000. Marcy at $2,250. Barbara at $2,500. Oh, we got the girl power going here, don't we? I'd like to see this. All women on the board right now. Is there a $3,000 bidder out there before we put the countdown? We got it. Marcy Shuck is now in at $1,000. How about that? Who's in at $3,250? Who's going to go $3,250 one time? Who's going to go? Anybody want in? Anybody want to go one time? Who's going to go? Anybody want in? Who's going to go? Anybody want in? I am looking right at you, Elizabeth. I know we're going to go out of focus right here, but Elizabeth, I'm looking right at you. Who's going to get in at $3,250? We got to get one more bid before we put that counter on the clock. There, we got it. Barbara Bush is in at $3,250. I take it. So now here's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and put that 30-second counter on the clock. And now we're going to see, is it going to be Marcy or Barbara or Elizabeth? They're all going back and forth for this auction lot. We're up to $3,500 now from Elizabeth. Who's going to go $3,750? Who's in at $3,750? We're going to have a flurry of bids that could come in, because you're going to be sitting on the beach. Now, I can't personally guarantee this. But the good news is that when you got Chef Jeff and Chef Justin on your side, they've already told me they can guarantee the perfect sunset too, right? So if that's thrown in your package, we want to know, is it worth it to you to support the Florida Orchestra in this manner? The dinner, 7 courses for 10 people, inclusive of the maestro and his wife, Cindy. It's beachfront. You're going to have the great weather. And ultimately, you're going to have the night of the year. So as I look up here at the screen, we are refreshed, which means that is our winning bidder, with a total sell price of $3,500. Elizabeth Smith, we are sold. Thank you from the Florida Orchestra. Congratulations to you, Elizabeth. Now, as much fun as the live auction was, I will tell you that we go into a part of the program now called the Bid from the Heart. And in the Bid from the Heart, you're not going to get a dinner. You're not going to get a trip to Mexico or a case of wine. You're going to get the feeling of knowing that you gave from the bottom of your heart directly to our mission. But it's not for me to tell you about the mission of the Florida Orchestra or the North Suncoast Associates. It's for someone who has been as connected to the Florida Orchestra over the past 25 years as almost anyone. And she's been more committed to using the Florida Orchestra to impact the youth in our community for the past 25 years. She was the performing arts specialist for Pinellas County Schools, where she supervised all the music and art and dance and theater programs. And she developed a program that we showed you a little bit about earlier called the Teaching Artist Program that was the first of its kind anywhere in our country. She partnered professional musicians who perform with the orchestra with music teachers in our community to provide support. She was awarded the Florida Art Education Association's prestigious Trailblazer Award upon her retirement. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's Bid from the Heart, the donations are going to go directly to our community engagement and our educational programs. And there's no one better to speak on behalf of those programs than this next presenter, who again, for a quarter century, helped promote it within this community. Please welcome Jean Reynolds.
Thank you, Jason. It's wonderful to be with you today. I am so honored. As you know, I recently retired, and at a retirement celebration, I was very gratified to know that really it seemed like everyone knew what my true north always has been. And it's this: I have 2 children, but when I went to work every day, I had 100,000 children. And what I wanted for my 2 girls is the same thing I want for 100,000 children. And I think we can all agree on that. And what that is a wonderful, rich arts education. And my children had that with wonderful things like the youth concerts and other terrific opportunities with the Florida Orchestra and other partners. You know, I always kept a picture on my desk of the girls when I first started the job, and they were 3 and 11, because it kept me grounded in those students just coming into the school system and students who were already there. I think about my youngest daughter, who had many arts experiences, was a singer and dancer and theater kid, and she always talked about where you want to be is front and center. And I think, don't all children deserve to be front and center? And then it makes me kind of fast forward to another picture of my girls when the younger one, Jocelyn, was graduating from high school, and her sister flew down to be with her. And in that picture, it just reminds me so much of their high school experiences. And I couldn't help today but want to read from an email that my older daughter sent to me when she was just a freshman in college, reflecting on her high school experiences. Now, mind you, she is like a real full-time, employed writer with NYU, and so she was a little bit mortified when I said I wanted to read this. And of course she said, I have to say, she says I'm reading. Please do say that I'm hideously embarrassed by whatever cheesy, overwrought, and self-absorbed adolescent thing of mine you're reading. But I think you will get why I wanted to share this with you. So here she is, she's at college, she's going into a rehearsal, because she's a double major, and music is one of her majors. She's going into a rehearsal, and then she's going to reflect on her youth symphony experiences. So here's what she says. It was a reading session with one of the graduate conductors, 4th movement of Tchaikovsky's Fourth. As soon as we started playing, I was instantly a sophomore in high school, petrified, wondering whose crazy idea it was to let me in the big orchestra anyway. That whole youth symphony season came back to me in an instant, the season of Matt and Bridget and of Tom Wilkins working with us. The first time I played that piece, I was doubling second, and I was a wreck. I never knew when to play and when not to. I idolized the other bassoonists, and I thought I'd never learn the runs at the beginning. And now here I was playing principal, tearing through the part after only having looked at it a few minutes beforehand. I was still faking those runs in the development. And in my head, I heard John Cahaya's voice at the side-by-side concert. You've got to slur those, because if you tongue them, you'll sound like a machine gun. But all of a sudden, it was funny instead of excruciating. They're hard, and we were reading. I practiced the big second movement solo just in case we were going to play that part, even though I knew we really wouldn't. I find all kinds of excuses to practice that solo. Whenever I hear it, I remember the time when I thought the greatest thing in the world would be to get to play that solo as beautifully as Bridget did, all alone with a real orchestra. And in a way, I still do. When I get tired of everything and I think there's no magic and everyone is just competitive and stupid, and why am I majoring in music if I never want to play professionally? I play that solo, and I remember that feeling. I remember what's real. What's real is listening to Bridget in the 10th grade, feeling my soul tickle. What's real is the moment of the fate motif's return, when even though you've heard the piece a million times and you really don't know if it's going to end major or minor, happy or sad, any more than you know what's going to happen to you tomorrow or next year or in a decade. Maybe it's fate that tickles, and everything tumbles forward at a rate we cannot control, and music is our only clear shot at time travel. You know, when Eileen sent that to me, the first thing I could think of is, don't all students deserve to have their souls be tickled? How can we work together to reach more and more students? And you know, lest you think that, oh, kids just do that and then they move on. You know, my kids still make music. They make their art. And as my father-in-law is at the end of his life, and the first thing my Eileen, my daughter who wrote that thought to do, is she says, "Here, play this for Grampy." And it's her playing bassoon that she had sent to me in honor of my retirement. What did she turn to? She turned to music. She turned to the thing that all students should have. We should give them all that language. We should make their souls tickle. We should have all of them be front and center. And I know you join me in this. And when the school system and partners can come together, we can make magic happen for hundreds of thousands of students. It's so important. But don't take my word for it. I'd like to introduce you to a student right now, one of our high school students, and she's had the benefit of some of the partnership pieces we've been able to do. It gives me great pleasure to introduce you to Arlene Aslani from Boca Ciega High School.
Good evening. My name is Arlene Aslani, and I'm currently a senior at Boca Ciega High School, attending the Center for Wellness and Medical Professionals in Gulfport, Florida. I plan on pursuing a degree in the medical field, but I also plan on obtaining a minor in music performance, as I could not imagine a world without music playing a part in my life. Unlike many students my age with an interest in music, I never had much of an interest in it before high school. I never disliked it, though I never saw it as something that defined me. I took some piano lessons at a young age, but those never really went anywhere. When I started high school, I thought that picking up an instrument could be a creative outlet, something light and easy to handle. 4 years ago, I could not envision where this decision would lead me. After joining an orchestra, I quickly fell in love with the class. I picked up the viola and started learning the basics: how to hold my instrument, how to read sheet music, what notes were, and so on. It was certainly difficult starting as a complete beginner, but I was incredibly eager to learn and grow as a musician. I was ambitious for more material, so my sophomore year, I joined band and played percussion. Just like viola, I instantly fell in love with it. To push myself further, I auditioned for All County Orchestra in Band, which is an opportunity for students all around Pinellas County to perform under a guest clinician. I thought that auditioning as a young player could be a very interesting challenge. Never before had I experienced anything like it. Auditions were nerve-wracking, and the material was exceptionally difficult. Unfortunately, I did not make it into the All County Orchestra that year, though I was able to make it into All County Band for percussion. While initially discouraging, it was a valuable lesson for me. It showed me what it would take to better my craft, which fueled my determination for next year. Through the Florida Orchestra Teaching Artist Program, I was given a chance to better my skills. Miss Baird was assigned to work with our orchestra through the program. With Miss Baird's help, I was able to get another perspective on my technique, as well as the ability to answer questions my orchestra director could not answer. Thanks to her, I was finally able to secure my spot in the All County Orchestra my junior year. This year, however, was obviously different than the rest. Because of COVID-19, being able to practice with the full class was impossible. With the loss of normalcy and structure, I, like many others, found it hard to be motivated. This is where our second instructor from the TFL comes in, Miss Springer. Through Miss Springer's guidance, she helped me prepare for my all-county and college auditions. Her private lessons every week have been incredible in making me successful this year. Through the TFO's program, I am receiving an education that I would not be able to get otherwise. With Miss Baird's and Miss Springer's help, I was able to make All-County Orchestra again, as well as prepare pieces for my college auditions this year. Though my orchestra director is phenomenal, one teacher can only provide so much attention to one student. Through the Teaching Artist Program, they are providing lessons and classroom instruction to not only me, but my fellow classmates. This instruction is building a better orchestra for not only my school, but for Pinellas County as a whole. Not every student can afford private lessons, and with their help, they're giving us the chance to succeed. I would like to end that without the TFO and their program, I would not be where I am today. I want to thank Miss Springer, Miss Baird, and the Florida Orchestra for their support of me this year.
Jean and Arlene, thank you so much for those comments. Understanding the impact that the Florida Orchestra makes in this community. As I mentioned in the Bid from the Heart, you're not going to get anything except that feeling you've given from the bottom of your heart. I'm going to call out some donation numbers and donation amounts. And as I call out those donation amounts, I'm going to encourage you to look down at the device that you've been bidding on all afternoon long. Whether that be your phone, your laptop, your smart TV, and the buttons to donate should be right underneath this video box. If you're watching us in full screen right now, please minimize your video player so that you can see the donation buttons. There's also a button at the top of the screen that says donate, and if you need to utilize that, you can. But this is exactly where you will be doing your donating from. As you make those donations, I've got screens here in the studio, and they will tell me who is donating and who is giving. And we will thank you, we will acknowledge you, and we will celebrate you. So thank you for that. The way it's going to work is I'm going to call out some dollar amounts that some people may think are a little bit high. But then I'm going to work my way down. Our goal is to have 100% participation from everyone watching the program here this afternoon. I want to see your name show up here. I want to celebrate you. Our first donation ask to get to our goal of $30,000 over the next few minutes. That's our goal. And the first donation amount that I'll ask for is a number that would help us get there awful quickly. It's $10,000. Is there a $10,000 donor out there who can help TFO introduce new young students to violin lessons? Imagine the impact you can feel, the impact you will know that you make with a $10,000 donation. The studies are out there that say that young people with fine arts backgrounds, almost specifically piano and violin, are more advanced when it comes to test taking later on in their lives. So I'm watching my screens here as they go and acknowledging the donors. You see the names scrolling there on the screen, but we want to make sure that we acknowledge the donations as they come in. The ones that came in earlier, I promise we will acknowledge those as well, as many as we can. How about at $7,500? We've raised almost $5,000 in donations to this point, and again, I mentioned I'll call out some of those names in just a little while. But is there a $7,500 donor out there? Did that one just go in? We do have a $7,500 donation, huh? Where's the bell now? Now's when I want the bell, right? Joan Warrington, thank you so much for supporting this mission and this cause to the tune of $7,500. Who else at $7,500? We see a lot of events where you may hear a donor at some of these larger amounts say, I'll give my $7,500 if somebody else will give $7,500. But Joan didn't do that. Joan believes in the mission of this organization to the tune of $7,500 and simply says, who's with her? Who will follow her lead? Anyone else at $7,500 or $10,000? Those are the levels I've called out to this point. As I mentioned, we will call out some of these other levels as we get to them. Anyone else at either of those levels that we've called out to this point? We're over $13,000 total. Where are my donors at $5,000? Are there donors at $5,000 who will dig down deep and make that contribution, make that difference in the lives of our community? Community outreach and educational support. At $5,000, you're going to help sponsor a teaching musician assistant. How important is that for our educators? Anyone at $5,000? Joan kicked us off at $7,500. I'm going to see who wants to come in at $5,000. How about at the $2,500 level? At $2,500, that sort of donation will go towards teacher curriculum and study guides. So important in our classrooms. So we did just jump up there, $2,500. Let's put that back up there. How about that? Maria Cantonis is in. Maria and George Cantonis at $2,500. Thank you to the Cantonis family for helping us get above $15,000 in our bid from the heart. Who else? How about this? Our event chair, Dr. Patricia Donahue at $2,500. How about that? We are over $20,000 in our bid from the heart, and we are kicking now, right? Who else will follow Patricia Donahue's donation? So I think we need to check that. It looks like there's a duplicate donation there. So Joan Warrington gave $7,500. Patricia Donahue gave $2,500. Maria and George Cantonis gave $2,500. Who else at $2,500? Those buttons are waiting there for you on your bidding device. All you have to do is tap that button. We will see you here. We will acknowledge you here. Anyone else at $2,500? Where are my donors at $1,000? At $1,000, you'll support free musical instruments and repairs. You can't have the music without the instruments, right? This is your opportunity to support the instruments and support the repair of said instruments. We're almost at $20,000. Who will help us get there? How about this? We got a $1,000 donation from Joan and Mike Klein. How about that, right? Joan and Mike Klein, last year's chair of this event, coming back this year. Who's going to help us get over that $20,000 mark? The donations have come in already. We're watching them come in. Who else at $1,000? Anyone else at $1,000? Your accountant will thank me. It's a nice round even number. We got it right there. David Bassler at $1,000. Joan Gutierrez at $1,000. Charlie Rutz at $1,000. Now we're rolling, right? Give me that bell. Can I hear the bell? I love the bell. I want to celebrate with the bell. There we go. I love it. Who else at $1,000? Are there other $1,000 donors out there? We're at $23,911. Our goal is $30,000. Will we get there? Can we get there? $1,000 and $500 and $250 at a time. Who else at $1,000? Anyone else? We got another one. Susan Betzer is a $1,000 donor. How about that, right? We're almost up to $25,000. Our $1,000 donors, Charlie Rutz and Joan Gutierrez and David Bassler and Joan Klein and Susan Betzer, thank you. Who else at $1,000? Who else is going to get us above that $25,000 mark? Anyone else at $1,000? All right, where are my donors at $500? At the $500 level, you'll support virtual musician visits with kids and families. That's what we're doing right now, right? We're just getting in with people virtually because that's how we have to do it. So I do know we got some $500 donations earlier on in the program. So are we at a place where we can refresh the other screen for me? Susanna Weymouth is a $1,000 donor. How about that, right? Yeah. Susanna, thank you so much. Susanna, staff with the Florida Orchestra, correct, Pat? Yes. Staff, again, putting their money where their beliefs are. So let's sort that by dollar amount. And then I'll be able to see my $500 donors that have come in already in the program. And there's been a good portion of them. So here are my $500 donors from earlier on in the program. Rita Wilson gave $500. Barbara Bush gave $500. Elizabeth Daniels gave $500. Gail Bertelstein gave $500. I want to make sure I don't read that one twice, right? So we have 4 donors at $500 to this point. Who else at $500? We're at $28,911. Helen Henwood came in at $500. Thank you, Helen. How about Neela O'Neill at $500? Linda Olander. Thank you, Linda, at $500. Robert Olenowski is in at $500. Thank you. We are at $28,911. Who's going to help us jump up? Who's going to help us get over that $30,000 mark? Now, I know there's been some donations, some things I've been seeing in the names as they've been scrolling, and we're going to thank as many of them as we can. We're going to make sure this number is as accurate as we can as well. Right now, we're at $28,911. Who else at the $500 level? We need to get 2, call it 3 more of those, and we're going to get over that $30,000 mark. Anyone else at $500? At the $250 donation level, understand that you too will support the virtual programs of the Florida Orchestra. We've had lots of donations at this point come in at that level, so I want to acknowledge them here. So let's start right there, right? Laura Herrick at $250. Ann Rupert at $250. Joanne and Joseph White at $250. That's keep applauding. I love it. Edward and Linda Sargent at $250. James Gillespie is a $250 donor. That's right. Anyone else at the $250 donation level or above? I want to see those donations come in. Understand that as much as we are working hard to get to this $30,000 goal, we got a lot more work to do after we reach it. Other donations have come in. Is that another $500 that has come in? Did that come in through at the top there? Ron and Dale Anderson are in at $200. Thank you for that second donation there, that top $500 one. All right, we are at $29,611. Who's going to help us get over that? So I mentioned that $250 level. Now, while you can continue giving at all these levels, I want you to tell you right now about a little game we're going to play here at the $100 level. You can keep donating, and we encourage you to do that. And I see the donations continue to come in, and we're going to acknowledge them as they come in or as I get to them. But I will tell you at the $100 level, we're going to play a little game. And the game is this. We're going to give a prize. You know what? Let me tell you what the prize is first. The prize is a $1,000 Opal Collection gift card. The Opal Collection is Opal Sands and the Sand Pearl and resorts and hotels all the way from Florida up to Maine. It's a gift card worth $1,000 for accommodations, for restaurants, for spa treatments, whatever you want to spend it on, $1,000. Now you're thinking to yourself, Jason, how are you going to decide who's going to get this $1,000 Opal Collection, Opal Sands gift card? I'm going to give it to the person who gives at least $100 last. All right? See what I did there? So let me tell you, the donations that we've had come in to this point, can we refresh that by dollar amount now? Yeah, right there. And now let's scroll down so I can call out some of these $100 donations that have come in. So Judith Zachariah gave $100. Marion Rich gave $100. Robert Freeman gave $100. Friedman, excuse me. Bonnie Jeffries was in at $100. Holly Duncan gave $100. Judith Diver gave $100. Ron and Dale Anderson I mentioned already. Let's scroll up. I'm going to mention a few more. Connie and, oh, that was too far. That's okay. We are right there. Connie and Reinhard Opitz gave $200. Thomas and Margaret Grace gave $200. Ellen Blakely gave $200. Woo! Gregory Risacco gave $250. Rick Tetrick gave $250. And I think I've called out all the rest of this point. So how it's going to work is I'm going to watch these donations come in. And believe me, I see that we've made it over $30,000. We're going to continue to celebrate. But as I see the donations come in a moment, we're going to put a 30-second counter on this game. And when the 30-second counter goes off in the studio, you're not going to see this one on your phone. When this 30-second counter goes on, the person who is given last is going to get the $1,000 Opal Sands gift card to spend at Opal Sands, to spend at any of the Opal Collection properties, whether it's the Sand Pearl, Opal Sands, accommodations, spa treatments, restaurants, wherever you want to go. So we've had lots of donations come in over the last few moments. I mentioned Judith and Rick Tetrix that have come in. I mentioned Gregory Risasco that came in. Eleanor Cicerci, our president, gave $100. Kathleen Abbott Hartnett gave $100. Susan Searuck gave $100. So as I mentioned, these donations have come in. We're over $30,000. We're now over $31,000. Let's go ahead and put that total up there on the screen so people can see the name scroll and know where we are. Joan Klein has given another $500. Thank you to Joan and Mike Klein continuing to give to our Bid from the Heart. We're over $31,000. We're going to see who's going to be our last donor. We're going to keep watching that screen refresh and see who's going to get in. Remember, when I see who our last donor is, that's when I'm going to announce who our $1,000 gift card is yet. So we haven't set the clock yet. I'll tell you when to set the clock. So I think donations have kind of slowed down, but what usually happens when I put this 30-second counter on there, that's when the flurry comes in. Remember, you can play this game as many times as you want. Every time you hit that button to donate, it's a donation. I want to see who's going to be last. So let's go ahead and put a 30-second counter on there. Eleanor Cicerci has given a $100 donation, so she is now my last donor. But we're going to see who's going to outdo Eleanor. Who's going to get in before I get that signal that the clock is done. When the clock gets down to 0, we will refresh the screen one last time, and I will be able to see who our winning donor is. The donations continue to come in. I'm watching them come in here in the screen. I see the names on the screen scrolling there as well. Kathleen and Patricia and Gerald Bertelstein, thank you. Marion Rich, thank you. Joan Klein, who has given many times throughout this program. All right, so the bell has rung. So what we're going to do is we're going to refresh the screen and make sure that I have a legitimate, real... keep those names up for me there, because I want to watch those scroll a few more times. But I want to make sure that we have given all the latency a chance to kind of roll in and see who's going to get this $1,000 gift card. So we do want to continue thanking the donors that have had donations come in, and we've called them all out throughout the program. We mentioned Eleanor and Barbara and David, you see there on the screen, and Ann and Joan Klein, thank you again. So what I will do is we did have a flurry there at the end. So we had Joan Klein at $500, then Eleanor came in at $100, Roberta Hoops came in at $100, Sandy Jameson donated $100, Eleanor came back at $100, Barbara Bush at $100, Ann Reynolds at $100, Martha Huff came in at $100, and our last $100 donor who wins this Opal Collection gift card goes to Miriam Griffin with her $100 donation. But as much as anything, I want you all to look up there on the screen, and what do we see? We see a total bid from the heart of $31,911. That is a great way to wrap up the fundraising part of the program. Folks, I will tell you that it is so important, the fundraising to the Florida Orchestra, so thank you so much for that. Understand that if I didn't call your dollar amount, whether it's $40 or $40,000, now's the time to make sure that you hit that submit donation button at the bottom and just put in the donation that you want to make here. So please make and contribute anything you can to the Florida Orchestra. Now, we still have a little more housekeeping to do at the end of the program. We have to announce our opportunity drawing winner. We've got a few more surprises for you coming up. But as we always mention, the Bravura Brunch, in addition to being a fundraiser, is a show. And we're going to give you more show. And this time, to help introduce our closing performance, our headlining performance, as you will, is the Florida Orchestra's principal horn. It's a position he's held for 4 years. He has degrees in horn performance and recording and engineering from Peabody Institute at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, and further honed his musical training at the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland in Glasgow. He has performed with the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra, the Richmond Symphony, and the National Philharmonic, among others.
Hi, my name is David Smith. I'm the principal horn player of the Florida Orchestra. Thank you very much for joining us today here with the Bravura Brunch. This is such a special event for us here, and you all help us support the orchestra so much, and we could not do any of this without you. So we thank you so much for being here today. Today, I would like to play for you the first movement of the Mozart Horn Concerto. And this is a very special piece to me because this is actually the first concerto I ever learned on the horn when I was growing up. I was 15 years old at the time, so it's nice to revisit again as an adult. So again, thank you for being here today, and I hope you enjoy the performance.
Bravo, bravo, Florida Orchestra. Thank you so much for all of the performers here today at the Bravura Brunch, the individuals who gave of their time to certainly the groups as they performed for us here at the Bravura Brunch. Ladies and gentlemen, as we get to wrap up our program, we've got some really important housekeeping for you, if you will. Number one is they've decided to make a special offer to anyone who wants to buy into that Vedanta Mexico getaway. It is 8 days, 7 nights. We talked about it during the live auction. It is now available as an Insta-buy. There are multiples of that package available. So if you go back onto your bidding device, however you've been bidding and donating for throughout the program, there's a button that says Insta-buy, and if you go to Insta-buy, you will be able to buy it now, no longer auction format. You just hit that button, you buy it for $1,500, and you're getting a luxury 8-day vacation in Mexico for 2 people. So please check that out. It doesn't expire for 2 years. I also want to make sure that if you did win an item, especially if it's a physical item, you're going to get special delivery. Someone from the North Suncoast Associates will contact you after the event. They're going to coordinate delivery of all of our silent auction items, especially to those local addresses. So you can expect some communication on that as well. I also want you to know that you will be getting a text any moment now asking you if you want to keep your form of payment that you have on file to use to pay for your donations or for your auction winning bids. If you would like to use any other form of payment besides the one that you have on file through Qtego, all you have to do is reply to that text message saying, I want to use a different form of payment, and someone from the North Suncoast Associates will reach out to you and coordinate payment. So if you want it to go on the card you have on file, do nothing. If you'd like it to go on any other form of payment, a different check, you want to wire money, however it may be, just reply back to them, letting them know that you want to pay with a different format, and they will take care of that for you. We do have a little bit of more giveaways to do. How about our opportunity drawing giveaway? We sold only 50 opportunities to this wine basket donated by the NSA Board of Directors. And the winner of that, we're going to randomly select that, was Diane Mirando. Diane, congratulations. Another special delivery. We'll make sure that wine, all 12 bottles of them, will make their way to you, valued at almost $350. I also like to have the privilege at the end of programs like this to announce the total money raised at an event. We're going to take the money that we had in sponsorships coming into this event, and then we're going to add it to all the money we've raised here during the program through our Bid from the Heart, our live auction, our silent auction, our raffle. And what we just did for the North Suncoast Associates, which supports the Florida Orchestra, is raise $75,000. That is an amazing accomplishment. Thank you so much for all of you watching, for all you have done. A few more points to get to. First and foremost, we want to let you know that we want to keep seeing pictures of you. And that's where we're going to put these pictures up on the screen now. As you have sent in pictures throughout the program, you can continue sending them in, and we're going to continue showing them. Text in your images to 813-212-2122. Just like a regular text message that you send a picture, and we're going to show them up on the screen. We're going to let that roll out for a few more moments because we know you all are watching the Bravura Brunch. We know you're enjoying the program, so we want to see you enjoying the program. If you want to re-watch this program after we go off the air, you can do that. You go to the same web address that you used today. If you wait 24 hours, you can send it to your friends and family. All you go to is floridaorchestrabravura.org, and you can watch this program all over again. Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close out the program by letting you know that we have one more musical performance. We're going to get a chance to hear the rest of the Mozart Horn Concerto No. 3 that we heard the first movement of earlier. We're going to hear the rest of it now. But before we do that, I would like to thank our friends at the production crew for making everything sound and look great as part of our program. I'd like to thank Qtego for making sure that all the mobile bidding and donating and watch the program was seamless. I want to thank Dr. Patricia Donahue, our chair, in studio with us for all her months of hard work preparing for this event. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jason Alpert. Thank you for all you do for the Florida Orchestra, for the North Suncoast Associates, making sure that the fine arts thrives in our community. Have a great day, everybody.